Hey folks, I'm Troy and you're watching TroyTube. In this video, we're going to make a welcome sign for our front porch, or in Florida we call them a lanai, and this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. Flamingos and all. Tammy loves the flamingos. And we got a little twist at the end of this along with free download, so stay tuned. All right, so we're going to go over how we make this sign. Tammy had bought one when we moved down here to Florida last year, and it faded. It was really just a print that was on the board, and so it faded. And I said, well, I need to make a video on this anyway, so I thought I'd do this design. This design is free for download on our website under the design section, and you can see it turned out really nice. So what I did, I went to Lowe's. This board is found in what they call like a craft woods section, and it's all like pre-cut, pre-finished, sanded, preset lengths and widths and everything, in their wood section. It's great stuff. They have like pine, poplar, and oak back there. This is just a pine board. What's crazy, this board was like 20 bucks. They used to be, I don't know, $7 or $8 or something. Everything's so expensive these days. It's painted with exterior latex paint. So that paint's a little bit more expensive, of course. But I see a lot of people buying like cheap paint, and then they're having to put polyacrylic on it, seal it, and all these different things. And it's really, the sign's going to be outside, so why not just paint it with a semi-gloss exterior latex paint, just like is on your house or whatever. And so we'll put on this one with white. I actually had to put 3 coats on it to get it nice and bright, because you can see the wood grain through it and everything. You can do that to your own taste, of course. Some people like to take these and like whitewash, stain them, and then put polyacrylic on them as well. So don't be afraid to do whatever you want to do to make it look the way you want. I just happen to want it nice and bright white, and painted it. So with the vinyl, they can make it the measurements of the board. This board is 48 inches tall, so it's 4 feet. It's 9 1/4 inches wide. So you might want to take a little ruler with you, or take measure to Lowe's, find the board that you want. This is perfect. It's 4 foot tall, and it's the perfect thickness. It's like 3/4 of an inch. So really perfect for these welcome signs that are already cut and everything. You don't have to do anything to them but paint them and put the vinyl on them. It makes it really easy. Now, I will caution you, some people may get the idea to go to the shelving section and get the ones that are white, that are laminated. You don't want that if it's going to be outside, because those will draw moisture and swell up and just kind of fall apart because they're particle board inside. You want solid wood for something like this. And the sign's kind of big, so I'm going to hold it sideways so you can see it. Lift it up there so you can see I've got leaves, got a nice big flamingo there, got a little flamingo here. Hey, we have flamingos down here in Southwest Florida now. They like hitched a ride with a hurricane last week, a dahlia or whatever the name was, and they're like over on the causeway by Sanibel Island. It's kind of trippy. We haven't been over to see them yet. Tammy's dying to see them, but we thought about, I want a pet pelican, and she wants a pet flamingo, so we thought about trying to wrangle a couple of those up, but we don't live in the water, so I don't think it'll work out too well for us. But here, I want to talk about a couple things with this. When you go to make a project like this, there's a few things you want to have on hand: rulers, yardsticks, tape measures, everything you need to work with something this large. You're going to want good transfer tape. Our medium tack transfer tape's pretty much the best on the market. The yellow squeegee, the famous yellow squeegee. I have all these different squeegees that are different colors and everything. I've used a ton of different ones over the years. For some reason, this yellow squeegee is different than even the same company that makes this one makes them in different colors, but this yellow pigment in this plastic, it feels different. The pliability is just perfect on it. It's not too stiff. It glides on the transfer tape really smooth. And I love the yellow squeegee. I'm not going to sell any other squeegees out. I just love this thing. It works so well. So you want to make sure you have the right tools for the job handy, okay? So first we just, did the design. We load the SVG up in the design space and make sure it's sized properly, because a lot of times SVGs don't come into design space sized exactly right. So make sure you adjust the size the way you want it. And this SVG is spaced and laid out with these things. So when you adjust that size, the best thing to do is to put a square on your screen, adjust it to 48 inches by 9¼ inches wide. The SVG will be grouped when you bring it in. So leave it grouped for now, and then adjust the size and center it over that square, that rectangle that you put on your screen, and get it positioned and sized proportionally correctly before you start to cut it. Now, before you cut it, of course, you can either hide or just get rid of that rectangle, because you're not going to cut that out anyway. And then spacing of the letters and everything, I'll show you the math on that and how I figured out what those were. The letters are 4½ inches tall. And then, so we cut everything out, apply the transfer tape, and then we laid the sign down, and I used a lead pencil to make marks kind of on each end in the center and then along the sides for the spacing of the letters. They don't have to be perfect, so you don't have to draw lines across it and grid it out or anything. You don't have to be that perfect. Just little marks with a pencil that will just wipe off, and then you can really kind of, I'm really good at centering and leveling things visually. A lot of people can't do that. So you might want to use a ruler or maybe a small square just to, make sure your spacing and you're right. You don't want your letters to come out crooked or anything. Like I said, they don't have to be exact. If they're 1/8 of an inch off or less, probably not going to see that. Definitely not going to see something as small as a 1/16 of an inch or a millimeter or two or something like that. And then, I just have a copy of it printed out or have it up on my computer screen while I'm applying everything, so that I know where the leaves go and all that stuff. Now, be prepared to just make this your own design too. Change the colors of the letters, use different colors for the leaves. Go find some different leaves and use them if you want. You don't have to use what I lay down in there. But on the product description where you download the file, I'm including the diagram and the list of colors that I use for Oracal 651 to put on this sign. So, once we get all that put on there, you want to squeegee it down. Let me back up to the painting real quick, because after you paint this sign, you want to let the paint set for a couple of days at least. This type of paint usually takes like 20 or 30 days for it to cure completely. So that means it's going to be off-gassing. It can affect the adhesive on the vinyl. If you don't let it dry long enough, when you remove the transfer tape, it could peel some of the paint off with it if the paint's not cured enough and attached to the wood well. I see that complaint a lot. People ask why their transfer tape's pulling paint off. It's not the transfer tape in most cases. Most of the time, it's the paint not adhered to the surface well. And then, same thing can happen on a wall. People put removable vinyl on a wall. Sometimes it peels the paint off with it, and they're like, well, it's not supposed to do that. Well, one thing, if you leave it on too long, most removable vinyl is good for like a couple of years, and then after that, it starts to become more permanent. And then sometimes the paint on a wall is painted over top of other paint. It's not adhered well or not cured well, and it will peel off. So, there are all kinds of different variables out there that can cause the paint to come off with it. So backing up to that paint, let it dry for a couple of days and let it cure somewhat before you start putting the vinyl on it. After you put it on, when you put it on, make sure you burnish it really well with the squeegee. Activate that adhesive. The adhesive is pressure sensitive, so it's basically like little microscopic bubbles, and when you apply that pressure to it and squeegee it down, it bursts those bubbles and starts the curing process. It takes 48 to 72 hours in most cases for that adhesive to cure. So this sign I just made today. I put the vinyl on it today, and I'm going to take it home. It's going to sit in the house for a couple of days before we put it outside. The sign gets, our front lanai gets like 3-4 hours of direct sunlight every morning down here in Florida, and the sun's pretty intense. So I don't want to take any chances on the vinyl starting to peel before it has time for the adhesive to cure. So that is how we put together the sign. Okay, so here's how I did the math on the spacing of the letters. The board is 48 inches tall, and I have 7 letters that are 4.5 inches tall. So 7 times 4.5 equals 31.5. So the letters are going to take up 31.5 inches of space, which leaves me with 16.5 inches to work with the spaces between the letters and above and below the letters. And there are 6 even spaces between the letters. So just by looking at this, I said, well, if I make 1.5 inches between each letter, times 6 of those is 9 inches. And that leaves me with 7.5 inches total to split between the top and the bottom of the letters here. So just a judgment call on it, I put 3 inches at the top here and 4.5 inches at the bottom because I have that little flamingo down here, and I want this up off the floor just a little bit anyways. So the measurements worked out to 3.5 inches at the top, 4.5 at the bottom, and each letter is 4.5 inches tall with 1.5 inches in between them down the board. Now, here's the little surprise for you. If we take this sign and we flip it over, it's a double-sided sign. This is the fall sign too. So both of these designs are on our site, available for download. We have the the welcome with the pumpkin on this one, and fall leaves, nice colors, fall colors and everything. Hey, if you don't like the font, this font, by the way, is Cooper Black. It's nice, kind of rounded, fat font to work with. If you don't like my font, change the font out, make it your own. Just use the other design elements, make it easy on yourself, and just make it the way you want to see it. But hey, this is pretty nice. I think Tammy's gonna love it. We'll find out this evening because she hasn't seen it yet. She didn't even know I was doing this video. But all she did, I actually don't even know that she's noticed the welcome sign's missing from her front lanai yet. She hasn't said anything about it, and it's been gone for like 2 days now. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this. Again, go to the site, go to the design section, or you can probably go up to the search bar and type in welcome sign, and it should come up on the site pretty easily. But it'll be under the design section under free designs, under the signs area. So hope you enjoy that. If you have any questions or comments, post them down below the video. Hey folks, I just wanted to take a minute to thank everyone for the love, kindness, and support that you've provided to Tammy and I over the past several years. It's been almost 10 years, believe it or not, been 8.5 years since we bought our first Cricut. So we're almost a decade into new careers for both of us. So when you buy great products like Orcal 651, Thermaflex heat transfer vinyl, DPI sub, premium sublimation ink, blanks, any of those things that you buy from our site help support us and our employees families. Don't forget about our subscription and membership, which gives you access to our e-learning courses and also significant discounts on product purchases as well. So if you like our videos and everything we do, click the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And when you do, click the bell next to it so that you'll get notified when I publish new videos. And then in the video description, there's also links to all of our Facebook groups, our Facebook pages. So join joining those groups, liking our pages, leaving us reviews helps us out immensely, and we thoroughly enjoy every minute of this journey along this path with you to bring love, kindness, and hope to the world using your crafting hobby or small business, whether it's been in person, on the phone, or through social media.